Today I wanted to run a beginner scenario of this game in case you were maybe thinking of buying it but worried about the reviews saying the game's buggy, that it tends to crash, things like that. My cat just left. I have the base game installed and I also have OpenRCT2, which is essentially a load of bug fixes for the original game, a lot of quality of life improvements. In addition, I also have Enable Early Scenario Completion enabled because I personally find it much more time-saving and less boring if I have that enabled. That typically applies to things like... Well, that applies to everything, but in particular we're going to be doing this one, which reads, "You have inherited a small farm, and your challenge is to build a small feed park amongst the fields and farm buildings. And the objective, which is the goal of the scenario, is to have at least 700 guests in your park at the end of October year 2, with a park rating of at least 600. Completed by says I've completed by with a company value of how much it was worth. This is the one we're going to be doing. It's the very first scenario, typically the first one people will do inside of Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. In addition, you have Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 scenarios, Corkscrew Follies, Tycoon 2, Wacky Worlds, Time Twister, which looks really fun, I just haven't tried it yet, real parks, quote-unquote, with stuff like to have at least 3,500 guests in your park, and you must not let the park rating drop below 700 at any time, to repay your loan and achieve a park value of at least 700, etc. I have Panda World, which you can download from a Reddit thread on the internet that was from either one of the older games or the developer's like list of scenarios, which is what the levels are called, that he just never released. There's also Build Your Own, so use your design skills to recreate this. A lot of time inside of this game, people try to make their parks and they try to make them look really good. That's not what I'm going for. What I'm going for here is essentially I am going to do what I can to complete the scenario as early as possible and really, I guess, show off the gameplay. This is going to be a video with minimal editing because I really want to capture the full experience, because I find that videos like that help me most, so I'm not going to be doing anything and, like, I'm not going to cut it out. So, we load in, we have a balloon stall, thrilling, we have some decorations, we have lots that we are more than likely going to bulldoze, and we have one ride. This is called a boat hire. People get inside of boats, and you can change it to like swans or something. If I close it, that can have more people in it, but people get in these, they row around, they come back, easy as that. It can be built in basically any body of water, and if you build them on maps that have like huge lakes, and have like water near the boundaries, they can actually go outside of the boundaries, but they'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So, first things first is that you can't do anything when paused, so we're going to unpause, and the first thing is that paths, like, if a path isn't one tile wide, the guests tend to get confused and quote-unquote lost. So, first off, the buttons all the buttons are up here. This is to pause, this is to speed up, normal, quick, fast, and turbo. This is to save, which new, load, save game, save as, about OpenRCT2, which is the mod I have to bring quality of life improvements to the game. Options, screenshot, giant screenshot, which I'm not sure the difference between, report a bug on GitHub for OpenRCT2, quit to menu, and exit. And then we have this, where we can zoom out, and then we can zoom in. We have this, where we can rotate the map. You can rotate. If you click and hold this, you can choose to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, but if you just click it, you're going to rotate like this, which I believe is clockwise. You have this, where you can see, like, underground, you can hide the baseland, hide vertical faces, and these are, like, you can check off multiple of them. You can have see-through rides, vehicles, vegetation, scenery, paths, supports, invisible guests, which does exactly what it sounds like, and invisible staff, and we will get the staff in a moment. Height marks on land, height marks on ride tracks, height marks on paths, so it'll tell you basically how high in relation to everything else where the normal level is, so here it would be 0 feet. Things are, for instance, down here is -5 feet. Other than that, you have cutaway view, which you can enable it, vertical clipping, I'm not entirely sure what that does. I don't screw around with these options. Highlight path issues, so you can see things like vomit, vandalization, I assume. And then you have transparency options, where you can choose to just kind of make things disappear, like supports or rides, like that. It's pretty neat. Anyway, let me see for supports, see for vehicles. These boats here count as vehicles because they're vehicles for the ride. This is bulldoze things. Clear scenery. I'm assuming this clears off. Nope. Clear scenery. You can use this to clear trees. Clearing trees costs money, etc. This is large scenery. This is footpaths. So I can do that. And I have extra money. And you see how this guy was kind of not on the path? He'll find his way back to it. He's fine. The guests inside of this game are stupid. They aren't entirely stupid, though. You go into it thinking, wow, this like AI is so like good for its time, and then you come out and you're like, why are they lost? My park is like this small. Why are they lost? So this white thing here is the boundary of your park. You can't build outside of this boundary. And what I'm doing right now is... Okay, let me finish going through these. This right here is land. You can raise land. You can lower land. You can make big. You can make small. You can... Construction is not possible when the game's paused. But you can go up. You can go down. Really good for eliminating mountains or so, if you have the money for it. This is to add water. Exactly what it sounds like. You can add water, you can go up, or if your land's down, you can start at the bottom of the land and then go up. This is scenery, trees, shrubs and ornaments, gardens, fences and walls and roofs, of which there are many. Signs and items for footpaths, benches, and litter bins are very important, as people throw away trash inside of litter bins, and benches, I don't know what happens if you don't have them. I'm assuming people will complain if you don't, because, I don't know, their feet hurt. Abstract theming, Jurassic theming, including this little guy, Mine theming, like Minecraft, I suppose, Wonderland theming with all of these cute mushrooms and cards, Wild West theming with a grand total of a few things, but it has a special litter bin, and then giant candy theming, quote-unquote. And then you have everything. This is the tab you're going to use the most, as it has, you know, benches and litter bins. All the litter bins are here, all the benches are here, if your scenario comes with multiple designs. This right here is footpaths, which is what these things are. It's where the people walk. I will get to this inside of a bit, and I will get to this inside of a bit, but for now, you can click and hold on this, and there's different styles you can choose from. The one used inside of the scenario is this one, right here. And each scenario is going to have a default footpath, but of course you can choose to demolish it all and build new ones. This button right here is rides, transport rides. Guests actually tend to get lost on transport rides, so I wouldn't really recommend building them because they treat them as rides and not as, like, transport options. So if they take it from one place to another and they can't get back to the place they came from without going on the ride again, they might just get lost. These are gentle rides, Ferris wheels, mazes, etc. Sometimes inside of scenarios, your guests will like mazes, sometimes they won't. I try to always build a maze, because if they end up liking it, I can increase the ride capacity to 64, so they're like little ants just scurrying around. Roller coasters, you click on a roller coaster, you get to see different designs. It might say down here, if I can, vehicle design unavailable, ride performance may be affected. I usually don't build a roller coaster if it says that. However, if it says, if I can find it, if it says, hi cat, design includes scenery, which is unavailable, typically it's going to look like what it looks like inside this preview image, and that's not really going to mean too much. Every single ride has that little list of like pre-built coasters, or you can build your own. It comes with excitement rating, intensity rating, nausea rating. Some guests will prefer rides that are more intense or more exciting. Some will prefer rides that aren't as much. And nausea is basically how likely they are to vomit when they get off, which can be prevented through having first aid stations outside of particularly nauseous rides exits. Max speed, average speed, I don't really pay attention to these. Space required, I don't pay attention to this. I kind of just tend to click on it and watch what happens. And down here is the cost, so how much money it is going to run you to build it. Your money is down here. Your total number of guests that you have inside your park are also down here, and a general look at your park's rating is also down below there. And then you have funds. This will tell you how much you gain every month, how much you lose every month inside of each category. You're given a loan. Unless it tells you inside of the goal details that you need to pay off your loan, I wouldn't worry about this number. Financial graph, here it'll have details for how much cash you have. Hello, child. How much cash you have. Here, park value, basically the value of everything inside of your park. Weekly profit, marketing campaigns. You can choose this, it'll bring more guests into the park. Easy way for getting that number up real fast. And then here is research. Research basically unlocks, if I can reopen this, extra ones of these. So you can have like, we want to research transport rides. If you check this, that's an option that they might research, meaning when they're done researching, you might get a new transport ride. I wouldn't recommend doing transport rides or scenery and theming. These two tend to be pretty not useful. Thrill rides are particularly useful. They've got different ones. You just click it and then you get to place it anywhere. Cost is up here and then you get to rotate it using this button. Hit the X, it will disappear and you can go back. You can do pirate ship. Got water rides, which are done with water except for this one. You can kind of just, if I can find somewhere where it'll fit. Nope, okay. Generally, if a ride can fit somewhere, the image of it will, like this, the white image of it will pop up where it's supposed to go. So you can kind of plan better. Boat hires can only go in water. And then they have shops and stalls, which are where people buy food, they buy drinks. First aid stations, restrooms, here's where they get umbrellas and maps of the park. Hats, balloons, first aid stations, like I said, put outside of nauseous rides in order to help prevent guests from getting sick. This is research and development. It's its own tab. You can go here and do everything you could up here. This tells you the type, which is right here, that is currently in development. So right now it's unknown since we just started. Progress. Tells you how far along it is. Expected is about the date down here when it expects for it to be done and for it to be available to you. Over here you can increase it from no funding to minimum funding to normal funding and then to maximum funding. If you're tight on money, you can I recommend going with minimum funding just so that we can keep things moving, but if you need to, you can go with no funding. Typically I tend to keep it at minimum or I keep it at normal. Prices vary. Sometimes it can be really hard to scrounge up that cash. Here is a summary list of every single ride that you have. So Rowing Boats 1, I can, for instance, click it. It'll open Rowing Boats 1, and we will take a look at this menu in a moment. Close these. Also, you can go here and it'll tell you about the research too. But if you go here, it'll tell you about all your shops and stalls. If you click here, it'll open it. And then if you have any, here it'll tell you about restroom and information kiosks, which you can open here too. So close that. Then we click this. And this is basically park management summary, I guess is what I would call it. Here is a picture of your gate. You could choose to close your park, open your park, buy land rights. I'm assuming you can buy land that's like outside of here. I never really tended to use that. You can locate it on the main view, so you're opening, and then you can name it. So we'll just name it Fighting. So, and it'll replace the name on the header there. This is park rating. This is guests in park. Admission price. Inside of some scenarios, you'll be able to increase the admission price, but you won't be able to increase ride costs. And inside of some, like this one, your admission price will be free, But how you make your money is determined by ride cost. This tells you park size, number of attractions, staff, guests, total admissions. This is the summary of what you should be doing, and this is any awards that you might get. Awards might be safest park, cleanest park, etc. See if I can bank. Okay, it took me a couple to figure it out, but when you go to buy land rights, here, this purple grid will show up, and in order to close it, you just go here, you click that. From then forward, I believe, I will move my keyboard away from my cat. Next is staff. These are your employees. Handymen, cost $50 a month, you can change their uniform color. Right here, if you click on it, it'll open him. He is right there. He is on the move. If you go to this, it'll center him on the map. You can choose this to sack him and just have him disappear. He's gone now, but let me get another one. You can tell him what to do. He sweeps footpaths, which are these things. Waters gardens, which, empties trash cans, and mows grass. Mows grass is typically useless, so people don't tend to click that one. These are the default options, though. And here, $50 per month. It tells you March year 1, how many lawns, garden, trash swept, etc. He'll sweep trash off the ground, he'll sweep vomit off the ground. Incredibly helpful to have at least a few of these. Now, coming back to this menu, let's say, for instance, that your park is particularly big. Ours isn't, but for a moment, let's just say it is. And let's say that if I turn this, people tend to get really sick when they go on this. So people tend to vomit there a lot. If you click on this, and you click on an amount of blue squares, you can basically set a designated footpath for him, so he will just only go there. And then you can use this button to pick him up, and you can drop him there. And then as you can see, he will only patrol this area. So you can have multiple handymen, and you can have them patrol multiple different areas, and multiple different areas only. You can name them. I don't tend to name my staff, but you can. Also, I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, I'll just fire him. Get a new one. You can center him on the map. You can move him. If you move him in the water, yes, he does drown. Designate footpath, rename, center on map, fire. You can also quickly fire by pressing this, and then pressing this. Be sure to select this afterward to turn it off. You can also do that to, let me demonstrate real quick. If I select this guy, I give him a footpath. Just go there. If you cancel, it'll just take it away, but, which I just found out. If you give him a little path, and then you take him away, then you hit this, inside of gray, it will show where employees are patrolling. So I find that to be very incredibly useful. In addition, you have this button, which is a map of your park, which you can also access by going up here, which will open up the same thing. You can see where different things are, you can see like where guests are, and how they tend to move along the paths. I don't really use the map. You might. This is a mechanic. You hire him, he walks around, he inspects rides so they break down less, and when rides break down, he fixes them. $80 per month can be pricey. If you hire him inside the middle of the month and then get rid of him before the month's over, you don't end up paying him, so you can just do that. Security guards. So when guests get mad, they tend to vandalize things, so they ruin trash cans, they ruin benches, they ruin lights, etc. If you get one of these, the hope is that they will stop people from vandalizing your park, but I've never gotten it to work correctly. So I just kind of replace what people vandalize. And these things. Hiring 4 of them right now. They basically walk around, entertain your guests, keep them from getting frustrated in, like, say, long queue lines, or if they're lost. You can change their costume. This guy right here. Find it. He is a tiger. He is dancing. You can make him a panda. A tiger. An elephant, like the rest of them. You can make him a bandit. Kind of trying to fit the Wild West theme. Where did he go? There he is. And then we can also make him a sheriff. Personally, I prefer the elephant costumes. I think they're fun, but ultimately it's up to you, and if you're trying to go for a certain theme, like Wild West, maybe Bandit would be better. But, and here's the same thing, how much you pay him, when he got employed. So there he goes. You can pick him up, can move him, give him patrol pass, same thing you can do with every single other staff member. So we're going to keep these guys, or well actually no, I'm going to get rid of a couple of them. We're going to keep these guys, and if I close all of this, actually I'm going to get to these in a moment. So these are your stalls and your ride screens. They look pretty identical. This is a summary of a ride. This is a summary of a balloon stall. And when I build another ride and I build another stall, I'll show you that they're basically the same. You can open and close the ride here. If you close it, people will immediately leave the queue. People will return, and then you can construct on it. If you try to construct on it, let me close this for example. You can build it. You can make it bigger. I don't tend to screw with that. I don't tend to make my own rides. There we go. Research paid off, and we waited a bit, and we paid, and now we have a looping roller coaster we can build. This is to rename it, center it on the map, completely scrap it. So, and then this is, you can pick which vehicle it uses for boat hire. It's either rowing boats or swans. Swans have more excitement and more intensity, and they also carry more passengers. Rowing boats, on the other hand, only carry 2 passengers, so I'm going to replace it with swans. Then it's boat hire mode, which basically says, hey, here's how the ride works. Oh, there's a duck in there. Wait for full load means wait till the cart's full for them to go. Minimum waiting time is time that they sit there and wait before they go. Maximum waiting time is time they sit there and wait before they go. Reliability, how often the ride breaks down. Downtime, how often the ride breaks down. How often it should be inspected by mechanic. This is to change the color of it. You can do like some alternative color schemes. If I were to, you can change from a whole bunch of different colors, like yellow. You can change this to like that, for example. So it changes and it looks really nice. If I change it back to dark green. Station style, which is this thing right here where it says closed and this little exit here. You can change it to like plain, for example, wooden, castle. Okay, the abstract, I like the abstract one personally. Pagoda, space. The space one is cool. We'll change it back to jungle though. And then here, you can change the vehicle colors. You can make them green. We can have green swans. We can have icy blue, quote-unquote, swans. If you go here, you can have it play music. There's a whole bunch of different styles. Typically, I just go with the default. I don't know if turning on music has an advantage, like if it gets them to like it more, but I enjoy doing it. Test results basically it would show a graph for the ride, like here's how intense it is at certain points. Admission price. Because the entrance to our park is free, we can change it. This is the price that people pay to go on the ride. As far as I know, guests spawn in with $50, and they can have more if you manage to build an ATM where they can take out money. But you can increase this or decrease it. If you increase it too much, they'll refuse to go on it, so you can play around a bit to find the absolute maximum that you can make it. And then here, customers currently on ride, how many customers it has per hour, the popularity, satisfaction, queue time, how long they're waiting, total customers it's ever had, favorite ride of how many guests, when it was built. See this? Which, if I reopen this, it'll start to play music. You do this, guests thinking about it. These are different guests here. I will open him, we will look at him later. And this is every guest's thoughts summarized, and here's what every guest is doing. So like, I want to go home. There's probably not enough to do. We can make more to do. So, we close this. This is guests on the ride and what they think about it. This is guests in line, and as there are none right now, it doesn't say anything, but it would generally show what their thoughts are. And also, here's everybody's thoughts, individually. This is a summary. This is all at once. I'm tired. Good for you. So right now we're going to look at Bobby. He is on Rowing Boats 1. He is in there. This is how happy he is, happy, energy, how hungry he is, thirsty, nauseous, if he needs to use the bathroom, how long he's been here. It'll also give you information on what kind of rides guests prefer. So this guest prefers a ride intensity of between 3 and 6, which if we go, for instance here, and we click on, whoops, my bad, and we highlight this, you can see right here it says intensity rating 5.3 approximately. So he would go on this, maybe, because it's reaching the upper limit of what he prefers. His upper limit is 6. Also, his nausea tolerance is low, meaning if he goes on a nauseous ride, he is more likely to puke. So, very thrilling. Here you have the rides he's been on, how much money he has, and where it's been spent, his thoughts, and what he is carrying. So, that's pretty simple. And then closing that, that's a summary on that. Balloon stall. Let me turn so we can see it. This is general information about it. You can close it, open it, do construction on it, which, if you do construction, you can just get rid of it, which is what this does. We're not going to do that, though. You can rename it, you can center it on the map, and you can just trash it, completely demolish it, and gain an amount of money. So it's open. So we go here, and for this building inside in particular, guests buy balloons from here, so you can click here to have the balloon that they buy be a random color. When you finish the scenario, all the guests kind of let go of their balloons and they all go up, so it can be fun to see. We'll get to see that. This is how much balloons cost. Same price throughout park. You can have like a stall here and a stall here, and maybe have the one over here charge more than the one over here. But if you click this box, both of them will charge the same, no matter which one you change. How much it costs to run it, profit, total profit, and then how many customers it has, etc. And then if you click this, you can see thoughts about it, if there are any. So, that's an overview of every menu. You can play this game entirely using the mouse, which is why I like to play it if the cats decide to hang out on my desk. This is how much money you have, with expenditures and all that. How many guests you have. Park satisfaction. I figure I may as well review these again since it's been a little bit. This is the date, and this is the weather. So, right now we're immediately going to start with taking this. And then we are going to, I'm actually going to get away from that ride. I kind of want to turn it down a bit. I am going to go here. I am going to select footpaths, and I'm going to demolish it a bit. Actually, let me, go here, go to options, go here, and I will actually turn this down a bit. Turn it to like there. There we go. So now it's a bit quieter. If we get close, it's louder. If we go away, it's quieter. Pretty nice. We can remove paths here. And as you can see, it's starting to rain. The weather, as far as I know, is random. If it starts to rain, I'm going to capitalize on this now. You can go here. You can buy one of these boys. And you can, if it has the path thing leading to it, like it does right there, you can place it there, and then people can buy from it. You can have, they sell umbrellas here. You can have them be random color, just like the balloons, but they don't drop the umbrellas or anything. Same price, you get it. Umbrellas. Guests will pay way too much for umbrellas if it starts to rain. So, we can do that. So they will pay more. Because obviously the goal is to try and figure out how much money we can squeeze out of literally everybody. We can destroy more path, so they won't get lost. And when we check that every path is okay, we have $9,000. The first thing we can do is we can start to build some rides. We have a lot of ample space. So we can go here. And then we can decide. Usually I like to start off by building some shops so they don't complain about getting hungry. This park already has some benches and bins in it, but some parks might not, so you would have to build those yourselves. We can start by opening up like a drink stall right here, and then every time you open something that'll pop up with its little menu, you can close it. We can start by opening up a sandwich stall, We can open up a hat stall for people to buy hats, and then we can go here, change them to random color. I like doing that. You don't have to. We can go here. We can also have t-shirt stall, souvenir t-shirts. Go here. You can go here, change it to random color. I like to do that because I think it makes it more fun. And then first aid station, a place for sick guests to go for faster recovery. Basically, helping lessen the chances they vomit. I'm actually going to put this right, let's put it right there, because I'm going to build a frill ride here. I'm going to show you how that works. So, first aid room, close open, construction, etc. How many guests have been in there, what they think of it, stuff like that. So, we close this. And then, now that we're actually getting this show on the road, and I believe... Oh, also build restrooms. You should also build restrooms. No matter how many restrooms you have, they tend to complain, so just build an amount of them inside of places. Also, you can charge to use the restroom. Like, I think that's a thing they do in Europe, so just in case you're interested. And before we actually build any rides, as you can see right here after I built these stalls, there's no trash cans or benches over here. So we go here, we find benches that match with the park. In that case it would be this one, since these ones are already pre-existing, or any benches or any bins you want or benches you want, and you just click to place them. And it'll show you how much they cost. If your paths are wider than this, it'll only place one. If you place it on corners, it'll also place two. But typically it will do this, one on each side. Actually get some more in here. In my experience, you can never have enough bins, because they don't complain if there's too many, and if there's too many, then that means there's less trash on the ground. Place some benches. I like to place benches. Once again, not entirely sure the benefit of it, but I enjoy it. I feel like it makes it feel more homey. But now we can actually start to build rides. The first thing I like to do is build frill rides. These are rides that you can charge more for them. They get more attention, they get longer queue lines, etc. So, I like this one. It's really small, it's compact, I'll build it, say... Don't like how this isn't centered. I'll build it right here. And then the first thing you do after you place it is that you have somewhere where you can put the entrance. So you put the entrance here. This is where I'm going to put it. And then this white building here that you also get to place is the exit. If you take an exit and you place it by the entrance, guests are more likely to go on that ride again, so I hear. But for now, so I don't have to build another path, I'm going to take it to exit and I'm going to put it right here, so it's connecting directly to the footpath, and I don't need to build a path here. So, it starts out with it, you know, they have the same thing. Twist, how many capacity, rotation mode, how many times it rotates, makes the ride last longer. You can change the color of it, etc. Have it play fun music, like pirate style. Change how much it charges. But for now, we actually can't open this until we get a queue, which is the line for the ride. This is how you build queues. You take it, and say I want it to match, so I go with green. And then you place it outside the entrance like this. And then you can do like this, and this, and this, and this. Why not? That is a perfectly functional queue line. I also could have gone here, here, and then like here, or just here and here if I wanted a shorter one. But basically, a queue line is a special path, this thing right here, that connects the ride entrance to a footpath. This is where people get in line, and inside of queues is the only place where people get in line. If you happen to build your own roller coasters, you can hit this to test the ride, see how it works. If you happen to make any modifications like waiting time, you can do that to test it, see if it crashes. But if it's ready, you can do this, and you can open it. Guests will start to queue, guests will start to pay for it, guests will start to ride it. So, we can take this, and we can watch people, see if they get in line for it, and then when a ride empties, we can raise the cost and see if people will pay to go in, and if they do, then they will pay that price generally, and we can either keep the price the way it is or raise it some more and test it again. Let me see if okay, there is no ATM. So, there's someone in line. Awesome. I am going to charge more. Charge like, say, $2.50. And then we wait for it to slow down, wait for them to board. And then we can see they did pay the $2.50 because they went through the entrance. So we can charge more. And we can basically keep doing that process until we find out that people, once they get up to this entrance and are about to go on, they actually turn away and leave. So, for now, I'm going to keep it at free. I think 3 is a pretty safe bet. That nets me a decent profit. Frill rides tend to get very popular, so I'm not worried about spending more money on it. And in addition, roller coasters also get popular. We can build one right here. Wooden, junior, mini. The mini ones aren't that mini, honestly. Looping, corkscrew, and mine ride. I like the mine ride. I find that guests really like it, and it's fairly compact. So you have this little white thing here that shows where it's going to be built. Be careful where you build it, because sometimes if there's stuff in the way, it might build it anyway, but remove like scenery or sections of track or the queue, and it's really annoying. So we can take it, can rotate it. This white square here, I believe, is the entrance, or like the an entrance to the queue, and this black square right here is the exit. So, can turn it, then we can turn our map, then we can have it say, if we build it right here, this footpath right here, this gray one that came with it, will automatically connect to here, so we don't even need to build anything. We can take it, we can open it, and now guests will start queuing for it. Price of admission is $2, we can raise it to 3. And then we can place some trash cans around here, place some benches, so people are less likely to get sick. Go here, get a first aid office. We can put it literally right outside the exit. People are still going to vomit on like this right here, but it's fine. Are they complaining that it is too expensive? No one's thinking about it. I'm gonna make it cheaper. Can make it $2.50. It's going on it. So we let that happen. And then if I check real quick, what is the goal of this scenario? 700 guests. So far we have 172. By October year 2, it's June of year 1, with a park rating of at least 600. Currently our park rating is 814, so we don't really need to worry about that. Park rating generally goes down if your rides tend to break down a lot, if there's vandalism, if there's dirty paths, like there's vomit everywhere, if there's trash everywhere, stuff like that. So, from here now, guests are starting to queue, guests are starting to pay. From here we can, if I can find it. I cannot, aw man. From here we can choose a marketing campaign to get more people here. We can do like an advertisement campaign, which is free 50 per week. Advertising campaign for a particular ride, 200 per week. So you can use this to get guests into line queues that tend to be pretty empty. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually going to build a maze, and they have different custom ones. I like spiral hedges personally. It's like the middle ground. This is the cheapest one. This is the most expensive one. But say, sure, let's just go with this. Oh no, I can't afford that. Say, let's go with let's go with spiral hedges. We can place it like, we can place it. Also, now that I'm here and it tried to do it, I can point this out. You can build things on top of other things, so if you do, it'll give like the scaffolding. So I could build this like on top of the boat hire if I wanted to. I could build it right here. Could build it over here. Could build it there. Really, as long as this white ghost image of the actual ride appears, you can build it there. I'm gonna go ahead and put this right here, so that way the exit connects straight to the path. I'm gonna go here. I'm going to go build the queue, and I am going to make the queue about this long. and then I'm just going to open it. You can build your own mazes. What I like about this, if I start a advertising campaign for it, the minimum you can do is 2 weeks, so I can't afford it right now. But if you go to, say, advertise this, multiple people will appear inside of the queue for that, meaning you can make a lot of money off of it. I'm actually going to sack these guys, because they're costing me a bit too much money. Yeah, that's good. So, if you're low on money, you can take out more of a loan. If your scenario focuses on paying back your loan, obviously that's probably not what you're going to want to do, because then you have more to pay back. But if it doesn't, honestly, like, you can just kind of, as far as I know, raise it to as much as you want or need. So I'm going to take out an extra 1,000 so I can do this marketing campaign. Marketing for Spiral Hedges for 2 weeks. Start. So it pays the 400 bucks, and then more guests will start coming for Spiral Hedges. So what we can do with Spiral Hedges is, if there's a queue and people take a little while to get through it, we can change the maximum amount of people on the ride between 1 and 64. So we can just kind of, and then people from the queue will go in. And then they'll just all look like little ants. The max is 64, and in addition, you can't charge that much for mazes, but I think it's a really fun way to kind of get people into a ride and out of the paths so it's not as crowded. Which guests will complain about if your ride is too crowded. So, people are on. Exciting. We have more guests coming in, probably because of the advertisement. If you're wondering what to do next, you can go here. I want to go home, it's too crowded here, I feel sick, I'm not hungry, etc. I want to go on something more thrilling. You could do that to get a general vibe on what you should do next. Typically, if I'm clueless, I like to just try and build cheap rides because it gets people to keep rolling in. I've found that inside this scenario, Ferris wheels work really well. So if I want to, I can build one. Gentle rides also tend to be cheaper. So, for a ride like this, it's long. So what I can do is I can build it like cotton candy stall, now available. Announcements are given down here. I can build it like right here, have the entrance be here, have the exit be here, and then I can go here. These are normal footpaths. You want to build paths from exits with normal footpaths. And then I can go here to clear scenery, and can get rid of that fence. So then I can go here and I can connect them. And then I can destroy, let's say, this fence. Then I can go here to build the path. And then I can go doot, 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 doot. And then I can open it. And the game is just literally that. It's managing money, managing guests, managing park, and trying to complete the scenario. So, seems like things are going relatively well so far. So, for now, we can just kind of sit back and wait, or alternatively, we can notice this thing of vomit on the ground, and we can go to our employees, handyman, pick him up, and put him by it, and then he will go and he'll clean it. Then we can just close these because we don't need them anymore. Okay, you can look around, you can charge more for things. There's currently 2 people on this ride, admission's only $1. If people aren't going on a ride and you kind of can't afford an ad campaign right now, you can lower prices for rides. I like watching all of them move around. I think it's fun. Especially roller coasters, you tend to be able to charge a lot for them. People really like roller coasters. So we can let that do its thing. Oh, rowing boats 1 here has broken down. So, because we have a mechanic, he is answering radio call and then responding, so he's going to go over here, he's going to fix it. And as I say down here, your advertising campaign for Spiral Hedges is done. So we can now start a new advertising campaign, or we can choose to just keep going as we are without it. I'm not going to start another one right now, because we're a little bit tight on cash and our guest count is going up, so we don't need to worry for now. And then we can see here, they're going on it after I raise the price, so $3 is okay. They will pay that much for it. So we can exit this. And then we can see about building more things. We can build more. We can build another frill ride, have the pirate ship. Choose to build this. I like to section off my park into like roller coasters and gentle rides and like frill rides. This is the same way as a Ferris wheel. Entrance goes in front or in back of it. Every ride, as far as I know, can be built on these little support things. So, can build him, say, right there. And then we can put the entrance here, and we can put the exit here. So if we rotate to be able to see it better, we can go to build a path for it. I like to build queue lines first usually, but for now I'll do this. And then for this we can do that. So, and then we can open it, and then people will start to go on it. It's that simple. So we can wait. Things seem to be going well. We're raising in guests. We're almost halfway to the goal by now. So, come here. Look at guest wants. Mine Mania is a good value, meaning they think it's cheap, it's good, it's affordable. The maze was great. It's too crowded. People are queuing for the pirate ship. Awesome. I'm going to charge more for it. And if I sit and I wait, I can see if they will get on it or not. But given that there's people entering the queue, they should, yeah. So I can exit out of this. And we can just kind of sit, we can watch, we can observe. Things generally kind of tend to run themselves sometimes inside of this game, so people like to decorate. But for now, I'm just showing generally how it is, so I'm not really decorating or trying to make it look particularly nice. It just is what it is. That's why you have this building here that just looks weird. Because it came with the park and I don't want to do anything with it. Can put in the Cotton Candy Man, which looks horrifying, by the way. And stalls automatically start with them being open, so then we can open, say, a coffee stand, because people are tired. Don't know if that actually changes if people are tired or not. They might spend more money on it if they're tired, who knows, but we can put that there. And things seem to be going pretty well, so at this point, we're in the red. Meaning, basically, where we are in debt. So we can wait, we'll go out of the red. Can't spend money when you're in the red, but being inside of the red, for what I know for most scenarios, isn't really anything too bad. Inside of a scenario like this, you could take out a loan to get yourself out of debt, because you don't need to pay back your loan. But for now, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait, and we are good again. So, I particularly like rides like this one or this one that can accommodate a lot of people, so the queue works through very fast. Boat Hire tends to be one of those rides where the queue works very slow, so does this because of lack of available cars. I think only 12 people can be on this at a time. 18. Which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't too much. That's why I kept the queue line short, so that way people wouldn't be waiting for that long. If the queue's full, they will leave. They won't queue for it. Because if your guests are queuing for too long, like the queue line's too long or something, they will complain, which will bring down your park rating, which Honestly, hasn't had that many adverse effects for me, but might be something that you care about. So we can sit, we can wait, people are coming. Can take out more loans. So I can demonstrate more right here. If we go here, we go say roller coasters, we can build a corkscrew roller coaster. Why not? Got Cobra, Great American Scream Machine, Ionizer, Triple Corkscrew, etc. Cobra is the cheapest one. People also tend to like it if they have an ideal high intensity rating, like most of these rides do tend to bring. Except for this one. This is something I would go on in real life. I don't like roller coasters. We can build this. And we can put it, say... We can put it... We're gonna put it inside the slot. So we can rotate it. We can also rotate our map. Now as you can see, the entrance is this white square, the exit is this black square, but as you can see, it's got, once I'll build it like, I'll build it like this. So you can see it has the exit right here, and then the queues right here. Already pre-built and everything, all you have to do is connect this to here. So we can destroy some scenery, these fences, and then we can go here, make a path, and then we can open up the ride. And especially for rides like roller coasters and stuff, I would recommend putting in first aid stations. It's just generally a good rule of thumb. So we can put it, like, literally right here. And then if they get sick, if they can, they'll go in there, problem solved. So the first thing to do is see if people will queue for it. Typically people will, it might just take a bit though. Because people need to actually like find the ride. But until then, we can place in litter bins. Just more in general. Always in need of more litter bins. That's what I notice about this game. And then we can go and we can put in benches. Like so. And then we wait, and hopefully people will actually start queuing for it. Got right here, you can see like how fast it's going per second, altitude, vertical G's, lateral G's, which is basically how far side to side you're being thrown. I find that the graph's fun to look at, but it's ultimately better for like the G stuff, finding out like how you can make your ride less intense if you custom build something, but given that I don't really custom build things, I don't tend to use that option a lot. And also, now that we're here, we're going to be advertising. We can advertise this ride, actually, given that it seems like people don't really want to go on it. They're a bit too scared. So we can go here, we can advertise for, say, 4 weeks, and we can start the marketing campaign. And then we can do, like, a general one for the park, which costs $700 total. Voucher for free rides, voucher for free food, vouchers for free cotton candy. 2 weeks. There we go. I like watching them get spooked. They like do a little jump and then they like leave. I also find it funny how this guy seems to be stuck in a loop. Oh, there he goes. Sometimes they do that. And then, just for fun of it, I'm going to build another balloon stall, because I like it when they drop the balloons inside the victory screen. I just think it looks nice, and we'll get to see that. So we can wait. I like watching them get scared. They do a little like jump. This game, so far, honestly, I haven't, given that I have OpenRCT2, I haven't encountered any bugs. No game crashing, nothing like that, like some reviews say. My save data hasn't mysteriously disappeared. Generally, everything's been a pretty solid experience for a game you would get out of a cereal box. I enjoy it a lot. It's like, I like tycoon games, I like management games, and this is basically exactly what I was looking for, so I am very incredibly happy with how this is. Also, more people are showing up. So, as far as I know, once that number there hits 700, the scenario will end because I have early ending on. If you don't have that on, the scenario will end when you get to October year 2, and you'll either win or lose depending on if you fulfill the requirements. So, you can wait. You can close this. And you can watch them all move around like little ants. And we can build more. We can build more roller coasters, let's say. We can build a looping one. It's a whole bunch of different pre-designed ones. Can do, say, Stingray. And we can build it right here. And then the queue is right here. Exits right here. All we have to do is connect it from here to here. And there will be some rides that you build where you do need to manually make the entrances and exits. Those can be a little bit hard to set up. They're kind of like a puzzle. If I tend to get too frustrated, I just tend to go with one of these. Oh, I did not want to do that. And we can open it. And there we go. And then we can take it, build benches, build first aid stations, etc. This game tends to be very relaxing. I don't find it to be too intensive. This is typically the thing I kind of put on if I just want to hang out. Go here, shops and stalls, first aid station. And then for the fun of it, let's build more bathrooms. I try to keep all of the roller coasters together because people who went on this will likely go on this, meaning you decrease the rate of, you know, people leaving because it seems a bit too scary for them. Also, in addition, if our marketing... Oh, that guy's going on it. Good for him. To be fair, it doesn't say it's that intense, but honestly, I wouldn't go on it because I just don't like roller coasters. So... That's it. We can wait. That number's going up. That's good. I see vomit, so I go to staff, handyman, pick him up, and drop him. And then I see more vomit over here, so I pick him up, I drop him, and I just kind of tend to do this. When things get a little bit boring, I tend to try and make the park cleaner. Especially if it's of a smaller, more manageable size. Vomit's going to accumulate the most in your roller coasters, obviously, so plan accordingly with how you path them, if you choose to path them. Some of the, like, you know when you load in and it's got like stuff already here, some of the pre-existing designs that it loads you into are really bad. Like, I know some of the expert ones I have to demolish like a bunch of the footpaths and stuff because they're like bigger than one tile wide. They're going to get lost. So, Twist one has broken down. But that should be okay given that the mechanic's probably going to go fix it. At this point, given that things are still going up, I can kind of just sit and watch. Marketing campaign for free cotton candy is done, meaning we're halfway through the marketing campaign for this one, and people are queuing, which is really good, and more people are queuing for this, which is absolutely excellent. So you can take this, you can sit with it, we'll complete the scenario soon enough anyway, and we have a great park rating, 894, so have at least 700 guests, we're at 635. By the end of October year 2, October 3rd year 1, we're a year early, with a park rating of at least 600, and our park rating is currently 894. So only thing we need is a few more guests, and then we'll reach that threshold of 700, and then that will be the end of the scenario. When you're done with a scenario, you can continue to keep playing, you can go for like most awards or something, or you can keep decorating. but there's gonna be no definitive end game from there unless you make one yourself. Which is probably why the game is just chock full of scenarios. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. Some scenarios involve, like, make this much per month, like $1,000 per month off of ride tickets, make $1,000 per month off of food tickets, vending, like, balloon purchases, make this much per month through admission, build a park of only roller coasters and make this much off of this, is one of them that I'm doing right now. But other than that, it's kind of fun to just watch. Certainly there's some that are harder than this. This is the very first one, kind of designed to get you acquainted with the game, familiar with it. You can do this. You can do Stingray for 2 weeks. Then we can do this. Why not? We're almost out of money, but that doesn't really matter. Oh! People are getting turned away from the queue because it's too full. That's fine, because a lot of the people walking in, and the scenario will soon end, are gonna be filing over here. So we don't really need to worry about that. I enjoy listening to the cash noises. They are very satisfying, in my opinion. And as you can see, queue here is starting to fill up, likely due to the advertisement, meaning more people that will be paying for it. You can increase the price of this to, say, like $3. People are paying the $3, so we can probably raise this to $3 too. Typically, roller coasters are good at $3. I'm charging $3 for almost everything. I should start charging more for this. Yeah, can't charge, like I said, can't charge that much for mazes. They won't really pay more than like $1 or like $1.20, but if you're really desperate for money, you could do that, I suppose. And yeah, mostly at this point it's just sitting, observing, waiting. Might have him go clean up vomit. But it won't really matter because the scenario is almost over. I don't see any more vomit. Cool. Hungry. Also, whenever the scenario ends, or when I can find one, if you click on balloons that guest dropped and they're like floating up, you could pop them, which I will display shortly. This is another frill ride, and as you can see, come on, you can do it. Alright, that's the end of the scenario. Scenario ends, there's clapping, everyone drops their balloons and they all float up. And then from here, you can enter your name into the scenario chart, being, I'm gonna put this in again, hit OK, and then that's that. That's the end of the scenario. You achieved a company value of this much, and then the balloons are floating, and you can go, and you can pop them. They make a little noise. It's really fun. That's why I like to have multicolored ones, because it looks really cool when they all drop them and they all just kind of go up. But yeah, that is... If I go here, go to quit the menu, can save, and then from here, how to save. You can use system dialog window, which will be like, hey, save file as. You can make a folder, Or you can make a new file, type the name of it. I'll just do this. Hit OK. Then we'll save, take it back to the menu, and that's that. But that was the first scenario inside of this game, and hopefully that helped give a all-around approach of how the game exactly works. That's mostly all there is to it. Of course it gets harder and stuff as the scenarios increase, but that's basically the basics and all you need to know to decide if you want the game or not, or how to get started. I hope this was incredibly helpful.